In this video, I'm going to show you how to format an APA reference page, including how to use hanging indents and other rules that are required for proper formatting. So the first thing is that we're going to look at a pretty normal reference page. This would be if somebody is just typing in information or copying information in from a citation generator or from citations provided on a library database. And notice that it's not in any kind of order and it's not using proper formatting. So the first thing I usually tell people is that if you're copying and pasting information or wording from a citation generator or from a library database, is that you want to make sure that you're not bringing over any of the formatting that is specific to that program. So that can be different kinds of background colors and different font sizes, text, etc. So there are two ways to do that. One, when you're copying and pasting information over, if you right-click and you select the A here, it pastes what you have copied without any formatting. And the other option is if you've already copied and pasted things over, all you have to do is select all of your reference entries and then click Normal up here. And that will get rid of any background coloring, odd highlighting. It'll make all of the text the same font size, style. And what we're going to do next is format these references in the correct order. So APA reference page, it needs to have the references in alphabetical order. So actually any numbers that you have as the beginning of a title, for example, would come first, and then it would be A through Z. And typically that would be the author's last name, although sometimes if it's a title, it would be the first letter or first word of a title. And the easy way to put these in alphabetical order rather than copying and pasting them around, which can lead to errors, putting stuff in the wrong spot or accidentally cutting off some of the wording, all you have to do is highlight all of your references, leave the word references at the top out, and you go up to this AZ with a down arrow button. And if you click that, it's going to offer to sort your text different ways. And so you're going to sort by paragraphs, and then you're going to sort by text, and you're going to choose ascending from A to Z. And then you can click OK. And what will happen is it should, 99% of the time, correctly put your resources, your references, in alphabetical order. What we're going to do next is fix the spacing here. This spacing is actually the default on newer Microsoft Word programs. And what they do is they have extra line spacing every time you hit enter. And that's a problem. We're going to get rid of that. And we're also going to put the references in 2.0 double spacing like the rest of the paper. So we're going to select everything, references down to the last resource that you have. And if you click on this up-down arrow with the lines, this is going to let you adjust the line spacing. And I typically just go straight for line spacing options because you can change anything in this box. So I'm going to put 0 here because otherwise it gives you an automatic extra 8 points of spacing every time you hit enter, which we don't want. And then we're going to change this from single or multiple, whatever it is, to double, which is the 2.0 double spacing. And if you click OK, it should double space everything without any extra line space every time that you've hit enter. And the next thing that we're going to do is create the hanging indent that is required for APA references. So again, what we're going to do is highlight all of the reference entries, and again, leave references at the top out of it, and go to the same line spacing options tool in the menu here. And this time we're going to look at the indentation box, and the left and the right should be 0, and under spacing, we're going to change it to hanging, which should auto-populate a 0.5 inch under the by option. And then if you click OK, it should auto-indent the second plus lines of every reference entry. So you can see just the first line is hanging out, flush left, and the second line, or the second and the third line, are all indented. And if you do this correctly, you shouldn't need to tweak it at all. The only issue comes is if you have extra line breaks in your reference entry. So for example, if you had an extra line space there that you've broken, you'll need to correct those so that it's all formatted perfectly here. And this is the best way to do it, rather than doing like a shift enter and then using a tab or spacebar to get those lines indented, because it allows for easier editing among many other things. Less, potential for error, etc. So if everything went according to plan, you should be left with references centered at the top. Everything is double spaced at 2.0, and you have them in alphabetical order, and you have the hanging indent. And I'm going to show you one more way to get to that line spacing option menu. So I'm just going to show you one more time here. If you highlight your references, and if you right click anywhere on that highlighting, another way to get to the paragraph menu rather than going to the top is to click paragraph, and you get that same paragraph menu where you can change special to hanging, and you can change spacing before and after to 0 and line spacing to double. So either go up to the paragraph menu up here and do that, or right click and select paragraph to get to that paragraph menu. All right, thanks for listening.